Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the Delta Life Table. If you are using Databricks, then you might have heard this terminology called DLT or Delta Life Tables or Delta Life Table Pipelines. So what is exactly a DLT pipeline? Why exactly to use your DLT pipeline? How exactly to use the DLT pipeline? We will cover all of them in this particular video. So let's get started with the Delta Life Table. So first of all, we will discuss what is a Delta Life Table. Then we will discuss what is a Delta Life Table pipeline, which is called as DLT pipeline. And we will see its benefits of DLT pipeline. We will also go with the architecture of the silver to the gold layer. And then we will also go ahead and create a DLT pipeline itself using the notebooks that have been provided in the Databricks. So, what is a DLT? DLT is a declarative ETL framework for Databricks platform. So, DLT is not a procedural framework. Procedural framework means you can go ahead and execute each cell separately and interactively. But DLT doesn't provide you that particular feature. You have to go ahead and write all your code in your notebook and then execute it in the form of a DLT pipeline only. So this is actually a declarative ETL pipeline using the notebook. So why exactly it's needed, we will cover up. But the main feature is it is an incremental loading that you can go ahead and support it with. It helps the data teams to simplify the batch and streaming, which is very using cost-effective methods, right? Otherwise, it's very hectic to go ahead and integrate both streaming and batch processing and create an ETL pipeline. So why DLT? DLT will help you to just declare your transformations and all the other activities like managing your task orchestration, your cluster management, your monitoring, how to go ahead and deal with the errors and the data quality. All these things are being taken care by the DLT pipelines automatically. So if you think about a data engineer, most of the works are automatically done by DLT pipeline, and you don't have to take a headache of actually managing your cluster, what could be your cluster configuration, managing your task orchestration, or even to monitor it particularly. So now let's see the DLT pipeline architecture. So first of all, you are ingesting your data to your bronze layer. Okay. From the bronze layer, you will be doing some data transformation and ingesting it into your silver layer. And from the silver layer, you will be doing some more transformation, some aggregation, some model facts, and loading it into your gold layer. So this is a complete architecture when exactly you are following an ETL process in Databricks. So in this particular process, there could be a continuous batch or streaming data, right? So in the continuous batch and streaming data, there could be some errors or some failures of the pipeline. The continuous batch and streaming and error handling is actually taken care by the DLT pipeline itself. You will be able to go ahead and maintain and observe the DLT pipeline, when exactly it's failing and why exactly it's failing. And the orchestration of data pipelines becomes easier in this case. When there is a data transfer from bronze to silver layer, after doing the transformation, there should be some data quality check, right? These data quality checks are actually inbuilt data quality checks that has been provided by Databricks in the DLT pipeline itself. Similarly, when you are moving the data from silver to gold layer, again, the data quality checks needs to be maintained. There are some constraints which are being provided that you can also define your logic, and the data will either be dropped or either it pipeline will be failed or it will be quarantined in a separate table. So according to your requirement, the DLT pipeline helps you in the data quality check. It will also help you in the testing and monitoring. And as we have seen, it unifies the batch and streaming processing. Once the data is in the cold layer, then it can be utilized by a SQL Analytics and BI or AI ML, or it could be shared by different teams because same data can be consumed by different downstream systems. So this particular Delta Life table helps you in a lot way. This is on the top of the Delta Lake. Now, if we talk about some structured streaming pipelines and DLT pipelines, if you know, it can work in both Databricks, right? Both of them works in Databricks, and it is powered by the Spark Structure Streaming Engine, and you have the Unity catalog. So both of them supports Unity catalog. But if you talk about the data flow orchestration in the structured streaming pipelines, you have to do it manually. In DLT pipelines, it will be automated. The data quality checks, as we mentioned before in the previous slide, it is automated. But here in the streaming pipelines, you have to do it manually. Similarly, error handling, recovery, CI/CD version control is also automated in DLT pipelines. And compute auto scaling is advanced, means you can scale up from one to many. Like I have seen in my project, it's more than 64 that it can scale up to. So it has an enhanced feature of auto scaling in the DLT pipelines. Next, talk about the limitations of it. So DLT pipelines or notebooks only support Python and SQL language. Till now, they have not supported Scala. Maybe in future, they will come up with the Scala language. And the DLT cannot be run interactively because it's not procedural. It is declarative ETL framework, right? So you cannot run it interactively. You have to go ahead and create your whole notebook and run it with the help of the DLT pipelines only. Now, DLT does not support any magic commands right now, and it also requires a premium workspace for DLT pipeline implementation. You cannot work with a free version Databricks in order to implement this. And DLT notebooks should contain only one language, either Python or SQL. So let's go ahead and jump into the practicals now. I have created a DLT Wikipedia Python notebook. In this particular notebook, I will go ahead and read the JSON clickstream data into a table, and from that particular table, I will use some DLT queries and expectations to create a new table with my cleaned and prepared data. And on the top of this, I will do some analysis and put that data into my code layer. So first of all, I will go ahead and import some modules. First module is the DLT. If you are running it into your particular cluster, then you have to go ahead and install the DLT into that particular cluster. Now I don't need it because I will be creating a DLT pipeline for this. First of all, I have imported the DLT, some functions and some types. Then I have this particular JSON called 2015 to clickstream.json. I will be loading this JSON file into my table. So first of all, I will be reading this particular JSON using my JSON path using spark.read.json, and I've created a function out of it, okay, which is called clickstream raw. So in this clickstream raw, I have read my JSON file and I will be creating a table with the same name. So how to create a table with the same name? So for that, you have a statement called add dlt.create table. So what this add dlt.create table is? This is a decorator, which is a Python decorator, which is using in order to create your table. If you don't know what is a Python decorator, I will request you to view some video on the Python decorator or just search in Google what is exactly Python decorator and you will come to know. It's like an encapsulation that does on the top of a function. If you have used a particular name of that particular function, the name of the table will be same. So it means in our case, the name of the table will be clickstream raw underscore path. If you want to mention a different name, you can mention the name in the DLT create table as a particular parameter. After I have created this particular table called clickstream raw underscore one, I will be cleaning that data and preparing a data and creating a second table called clickstream prepared one. In this clickstream prepare one, what I'm doing is with the help of the range function that DLT provides, I'm ranking that DLT particular table called clickstream raw one, and I'm adding some columns called click count, current title, previous title, current. So in this, I'm actually creating a click count, and I'm actually converting the click count column data type to integer. What does add DLT expect means? So there are some expectations or constraint that we are providing for data quality check. So in this case, I'm saying that if valid current page title and is present, then it is an expect. And if current page title is not null, it's an expect. Whatever current page title is actually null, it will just exclude those. It will just expect which are not particular null. Expect or fail means the pipeline is going to fail if in case the click count is less than 0. Then comes in the goal layer, I want to do some more transformations, some applications or some sorting, and then I will be saving it into my goal layer. So for that, I'm creating another table called add_dlt.table. Here I will be referring a particular table name called top spark refers. So this is my table name. Now, in this particular table name, I'm reading the second table that I created, which is this one, okay? And in this particular, I'm filtering out any data which has the current page title as Apache Spark. And I'm renaming it to referrer. And I'm sorting the click count in the descending order, selecting just the referrer and the click count with the limit of 10 so that it doesn't take time. So this is my notebook that I will be using in order to create my ETL process using the DLT pipeline. So let's see how we can go ahead and do that. So I will go ahead and create the pipeline called DLT demo. And I am using the project edition as advanced because in the advanced only you can go ahead and create the DLT pipelines. There is a triggered mode. The pipeline mode you have to choose depending on your cost and your latency. So the triggered pipeline will only update once and then it will shut down your particular cluster. Now I will be choosing my path. So I've selected my path of my file and I have used the Hive Metastore, and I will mention the DLT demo as my target schema. And the cluster policy, I'm not keeping it anything. I have made my cluster mode as enhanced scaling. I will just reduce this to 2 because if the maximum workers are more, then it is going to increase your cost as well. And if you want to go ahead and add some notifications, you can add the notification into it. Right now, I don't want it, so I'll not put anything. Go ahead and click on the create option. So it has created the pipeline. I will go ahead and click on start. It will take some time to go ahead and get all the resources and then initialize it and set up the tables and render the complete graph. So now we see that the complete pipeline is succeeded. So there are 3 layers as I discussed before, the raw one, which is my bronze, then the silver, then the gold, right? In this bronze layer, if I see the data quality is there, right? It has not dropped any particular row. All my 23 million records are written. Now, if I see the schema, this is my schema of my table, which it has interpreted from the JSON file, and the flows exactly how it is flowing from one to another. It is showing up here. If you want to see, you can also see this in a list format, basically, which gives you the name of your table, your type, your status, what is the duration, and how many rows are basically recorded, right? And how many drop rows are there, and faith and expectations are present here. Now, if I want to go ahead and verify this particular, whether the data is present in raw one, prepared, and top spark, I have opened up this particular SQL warehouse in which I am querying this particular first statement. In this particular first statement, that is my particular raw, right? This is the bronze layer which I'm actually querying, and it has given me all my results. Similarly, for my next query, that is the prepared, I have this particular query that I will be executing. And if you see, all my 10 records are showing up here because I have done a limit of It means the pipeline is successful. Whatever it wants to exclude, it has excluded in the data quality check, and it has succeeded my particular pipeline. So this is how you can go ahead and create your Delta Life table and your pipeline with the help of the DLT pipeline. It's very useful if you have not used it in your projects or you have not tried. This video is surely going to help you to get started with your DLT pipeline. You can also view the documentation. I will go ahead and pin that documentation in the description. And if you like the video, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.